Trading Enterprise. Still phone prepare for you. Whatever gadgets you are looking for, whether mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras, we say worry no more because we've got you covered. To make things very simple, you can actually download the app on your phone, which is Franco Trading app. Or if you want to make further inquiries, you can visit our website, www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone prepare for you. My name is Roslyn Felly, and of course, I'm not here alone. Kay today, M to the J is here. Hi, Kay.
Great stuff. Yes, and we love Franco Trading Enterprise. This morning, we're asking you to send your messages to us and let us know what you think about the conversations we're having here on the show. We're starting off with News Flash, of course, it's proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. We'd love to read from you, and so do well to let us hear from you as always. So we're starting off with the newspapers and the front pages, what has been reported, and then we'll get into most of the substantive conversation here on the show. So, Rose, we're going to start off with the newspapers, right?
Yes, we're going to start off, but I think we should introduce our guest who is here
okay,
for
let's,
now.
Let's
Honorable Alex Segbefia is here this morning. Congratulations, Honorable.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Rosalind.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kim. Always looking sharp.
John Mahama.
For a change. I've gone slightly political.
I know, right? This is the first time I'm seeing dogs in that.
But by next week, I'll be back to normal.
Nice. But it's nice, though. It's really nice.
Yeah. And I was expecting a white, not knowing we've gone green, so he decided to make it a green.
Yeah, that's what they say. They say Ghana has gone green.
Yeah, for now.
For now.
All right, so yeah, Kay?
Yeah, so let's begin with the New Republic. On the front page, it says, after claiming he will never hand over to NDC, JM anointed before his enemy, as Nanado welcomes him back to Jubilee House. And Jean Mensah hot as EC staff recruiter vanished with the agent's money. NPP appointees at ECG on final looting spree. And NPP's cataclysmic maker defeat. Subin MP blames Akufo-Addo's intransigence. And also yesterday, Andy Appiah-Kubi was on PM Express and also upfront spoke about the issue of the government, the New Republic, speaking on all of these issues, and also mentioned that the government could have done better, way better than was expected. Even some of the party executives have also received some blames. And if you see people like that from the political party coming out to now speak about the way they expected the government to really support them, or even give them a listening ear, and they never got, then it tells you that there's really a big issue. That even beyond what is happening right now, the party would have to take a drastic decision, on some of these issues.
Right. So today we want you to send in your messages to us on 0551575757, 0551575757. Did the NDC have a strategy to win this year's election, or it was just luck on their side where voter apathy favored them? Well, Honorable Alex Segbefia will definitely tell us. If there was a strategy, he will let us know the strategy they put in place. If there wasn't a strategy and it was a luck, or somebody would say God factor that just worked in their favor, he will definitely let us know that as well. And so send your messages to us. And just like KMJ is saying, do you think that the executives of the NPP failed them, or it's rather the government that failed Ghanaians that got them out of power? Because it's actually become another debate, where amongst themselves they say, it's the government. Some are saying it's the party executives that failed them. Honorable.
Yes.
Maybe you would want to begin with he anointed me in the presence of my enemies.
Yeah.
The president stated that in his speech. Did he really, was it really necessary at that point? We all know what have happened in the campaign trail and all that, comments that have come out in regards to that.
I think the first thing I have to do is say good morning to all your viewers, and then to thank Ghanaians for voting the NDC into power. I think that the quote is from Psalm 23. And enemies in that light covers a myriad of things. So your opponents, people who are against you, etc. So I wouldn't take it in a very negative sense in terms of an enemy trying to do something necessarily against you. They were our opponents. I've always said in politics, actually, your enemies are in your own house, not outside. Your outside people are your opponents. And you know them, you see them. Your enemies, normally, you don't see. They come after you in the dark or when you are asleep. So I don't put it in that negative connotation. What I say is, yes, and don't forget, John Mahama had stood before, and various comments had been made to ensure that he never came back. But God being so good, he has returned to finish his 2 terms, if I can put it that way, the next 4 years.
Yes.
So we are grateful to God, first and foremost, for the victory. Strategy played a big part through the hand of God, because there was a very subtle strategy that worked fantastically, which was Ghanaians bought into the fact that this was not NPP NDC, it was Ghana against NPP. Now, once that sank, people moved away from partisan politics a little bit and voted NPP out, because it was now not NDC per se, but it was Ghana as a country fighting the NPP. And that's why we've had now the most unprecedented victory ever recorded in a political dispensation in Ghana. Perhaps Kwame Nkrumah, in terms of percentage, would be the only one who would be thereabouts close by. And I think they had a lot. I've always said and still maintain that governments lose elections, opposition don't win them. The outcome is that they win, and the NPP has done every single thing possible to lose the election. Most of it with their internal squabbles. We all have them. But the level to which you take it and how far it goes would make the difference.
Determine the results that will
make the difference. I said on this show that there are 3 things you need to win an election. The first thing is to pray for your opponent to doing all the wrong things. I think that prayer was answered way back 2-3 years ago. In fact, 4 years ago, but because of games on the last one, it didn't manifest. And the last point I'll make. So they have been doing everything wrong and not even allowing democratic processes to work internally. And because they got away with it against us, they believe they would get away with it against their own, and even make decisions against the people of Ghana and think they would get away with it. Ghanaians, Sir John said, fear delegates. We are saying fear voters, because that's the ultimate power is with the people.
Yeah.
And that's why I never went with the polls, regardless of who was doing it. Because there was a fear factor, which nobody was measuring. There's that fear within the NPP that people are vindictive, so they won't tell you how they are going to vote. They keep it to themselves. But when the time comes, they voted. And we have now all seen
that had a great impact.
that the percentages they were talking about out the window. And they also do another thing. They don't spoil their vote anymore in Ghana. What do I mean? On paper, Cheddar, Chemantin were going to do that fantastically. They did pretty well. But when you look at the figures, no. Nobody was going to waste their vote. It's going this way or that way. And most of it went one way. So there were many factors. But the first point I said was that you must be able to pray for your opponent to do the wrong things. Our prayers were answered 100-fold. Then the next thing you have to do, and that goes, you have to commend John Mahama and the leadership of the party, General Mosquito, Fifi Kwete, and because you needed to have good strategy. What do I mean? And processes. Our elections at the branch level, at the constituency level, at the regional level, at the national level, they all brought up issues. But we did it early enough to have time for reconciliation.
Okay.
Because every process you go through, it raises issues. When you're in government, you leave everything to the end or closer to the end. But it means you are not leaving yourself time for reconciliation. So recovering from it internally becomes a problem. We did everything. I remember there was a time they said, oh, NDC is behind, this people have done this. We had our timetable. We worked with our timetable. And we went through the process, choice of MPs, everything. And then we went and did reconciliation. And we're doing reconciliation till almost the election. Till a month to the election, we were still softening the ground because people are upset, people think they have been cheated, etc. Competitions bring that. Then we did something which was very good as well, which was we've started working on our manifesto early. And because of what we had done in the past, we were able to build on that and come out with, I think, once again, the best manifesto of these elections.
I wanted to know about your manifesto.
Yeah.
Did you have community engagements to know what the people want?
Yes. John Mahama went round. He went round the whole country. Tell me what you want. Exchange.
And this was before the major campaign.
Before we came out even with our manifesto. John Mahama went round to every region. And he had, it was called, I think, engaging the people. There was a term we used. It slips my mind now. But yes. So he had been around the country to ask people, what exactly is your issue? And then crafted it on the basis of what we had already learned from the 2020 manifesto. So our manifesto, and I think the second best manifesto was from the Butterfly, actually.
Yeah.
The movement.
The movement, yeah.
So they also did some work, and kudos to Chairman Ting, at least on the document. But that was demonstrating to people that we were ready for governance. Because people watched the whole processes, saw how we came out, checked our communication team, and kudos to them on various things, sometimes too vociferous, but you had different types. We look at the medium, you send the right person to go and speak. If I don't speak Twi. They were begging me, come to, no. Communication says no. Send your best foot. Send somebody who speaks Twi. Send somebody who speaks Ewe. So we were communicating at the right level, in the right medium. So as a strategy and a plan, we were able to demonstrate to Ghanaians that we are ready for governance.
Right.
And we also had a leader who had been there, done it, so you could do comparison. And that worked beautifully because you couldn't say, oh, maybe not. He'd been there. This is what he had done.
Yeah.
And that helped. So John Mahama has been almost a savior for us in this particular, and plays a big part in why we had such a huge margin. Then the last part, which I said, was that you must count your vote. When we went round, everybody kept saying, oh, we will vote for you, but are you going to protect our vote?
Which is crucial, by the way.
And kudos has to be given to our election director, to Dr. Omani Gwama, Computer, and also Madi. Sterling job. Sterling. The training of agents, they remove some, you bring them. We didn't go with this issue of, I've been a polling agent for they wrote exams.
Oh, wow.
Yes. If you couldn't write 3,517 words, please, hold back. We love you dearly. We know you love the party, but hey,
It has to be someone else.
somebody else must do this particular job for us. Now, these are not trade secrets that I'm giving out. They did it to us in 2016. So
There was a lesson learned.
you have to learn from what makes the difference. And the election director did a sterling job. So now when you put all these together, you then realize that the NPP was never going to win this election because they had created so many problems for themselves. And so it was never going to be rocket science. Nobody bought into this whole problem is Russia and Ukraine or COVID. Because eventually, COVID, we were able to debunk that notion because COVID was worldwide. So why isn't everybody in the same place we are? So it came down to our borrowing and our mismanagement. And once people bought into that, then as Otumfo told them at a certain point, as Chairman Ting had told them, bottom line for people is if my food is too expensive, I can't live my life, they'll vote you out. You add all the other things, and now you have a margin where for the first time in the history of Ghana, a party has more than 2/3 in parliament. The significance of that should not be lost on anyone.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you can do lots of things.
Well, when you were giving your pointers, one thing that you left out was the money factor. We know how Ghanaians vote. They like to see the monies in their pocket. Did you have to do that when you went around speaking to the people?
No, we told them to take any money that comes, but vote right.
But did you give them money?
No. You see, you can do that in a primaries. You can do that in an internal election where the numbers are few. You can't do that when there are 80 million or 30 million.
You would have to pay everybody.
Yeah, I mean, how are you going to pay and how? What you do is you have to make sure you pay your polling agents because it's a job. They're there the whole day. So after training them and doing that, you make sure that they get their money. What happened was that the NPP tried to pay much more to our own polling agents. But because of the training they had gone through, people rejected money openly.
It translated into loyalty.
They were not interested. On the day, they were not interested. Because they were also suffering. And they had come to learn that whatever they take there is minimal compared for the next 4 years. It doesn't make a difference. So once again, monetization lost the day. It didn't help. No matter how much money you had, this election was never going to be won by the NPP. And they had a lot of money, and they used a lot of money. It didn't fly. I mean, just look at the numbers. It didn't fly at all. And it wasn't that there was no money. Money moved in huge tranches. Nothing.
So summing up all the pointers that you mentioned, and at that point when you were drafting the manifesto, you were now aware of the situation on the ground and all of that. Was there any point in time when John Mahama felt like, based on what I've seen on the ground and what we're trying to put together, I may win, but it may not be a big margin for me?
No, I don't. I think that we moved away from internally. You knew all the factors I've mentioned. We knew.
Yeah.
But we could never measure the extent of the ability to rig. When a snake bites you, when you see a worm, you are careful. And that is where we were.
So complacency.
We knew we had
out.
done everything right. But what, excuse my terms, evil machinations were being plotted to ensure that this was rigged again. Because as far as we are concerned, 2020 was rigged. We just didn't have the machinery to catch it out. But fortunately for us, we went, you see, God is a living God, but you don't see it in certain ways. Ascend North, for us, was a platform where we tested what we would do in a general election in terms of collation. It worked like a song.
Yeah.
Now, when you cook in your house for 6 people, it's different from when you cook for a party. It can be the same food, if you don't know how to. So we now had to see whether we could juxtapose that into a situation.
The large number.
The large numbers. And clearly, we got it right. Because they just went through the processes. And we got our results very early. Did you see anybody shouting, we had won, we had won? No. We had our numbers, we had our pink sheets, we knew it was over early. And the NPP knew we knew, and we also knew that they knew. So now play the game, let's see. There was no space to play. You can't change any figures. We all have the sheets. And I must commend Dr. Baumia for the early concession. Because Ghana would have been almost impossible to live in if he hadn't done it that early. Because everybody knew the position. And the only thing that would happen was people would try to start playing games to change things. And that would then have brought chaos. Yeah. So his early concession, there are many things that we are going to jump on him for later. But I commend him for that early concession. And when we went to Jubilee House yesterday, the demeanor and coming back to your statement of the president was fantastic. He was magnanimous in defeat. He was a statesman. He spoke well. John Mahama spoke very well. And I was proud to be a Ghanaian. Let me put it that way. I really was. To see it in action and to see the way it was moving smoothly. When you hear what has happened in other
very different from what we've even seen on the campaign trail.
Ghana has landed on the map correctly. But we must not, you see, MDC must learn a lot from this. Don't take people for granted. And what you think people know, we just don't talk. If you mess with Ghanaians, they will deal with you. Let's govern for the benefit of Ghana. And this arrogance, I'm this person, I'm that, talking to people. NPP was too arrogant. And they wouldn't listen to anybody, even their own. Let NDC learn. Because if we learn and do the right things, trust me, we will govern for a very long time. I'm not talking of break the 8 and things, but we'll be there for a long time.
All right, so I think we'll read a few of the newspapers. Let me do the daily graphic.
So just do the daily graphic.
I'll do the daily graphic. We'll renegotiate IMF. World Bank deals President-elect Mahama says so. Return official vehicles by January 3rd, 2025. This coming from Akufo-Addo as he directs appointees. And yesterday was trending. They are urging their people to release the vehicles before they come after them. So please, if you do have any vehicles in your possession, you have to release them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a very interesting conundrum. In our time, there was the law allowed for you to be able to purchase your salon car, but never 4x4s. Now that has been changed. You can't take any car. So salons, 4x4s. What is rumored is that there have been processes to auction cars as if they are no longer fit for purpose. People should stop. Because we don't have money to go and start buying cars. The cars are there. Why are you auctioning?
So you use those cars. You're not buying new cars for your police.
The NDC is going to use it.
You cannot go and start buying cars immediately. You use what is there, especially in the kind of economy we have. And some of these cars are not more than a year old, 2 years.
There was recent one that will even purchase.
Exactly, pickups for the security. So, hello, where are they? Who is taking? Leave everything. It's over. Leave everything so that when we come, it will help us move away from having to purchase in certain areas for at least a period of time. Because we don't have money. Ghana is broke. The fact that we are elated about the election doesn't change our financial situation. So you go to the hospital and your wife has given birth. You're so elated, but you still have to now come and feed them. And you were unemployed before the birth, and you are still unemployed. So when you get home, the reality begins to dawn upon you. That's where we are. So yes, we are happy.
So the president's statement about we moving through post-COVID growth, it's not true? You know, he mentioned yesterday that where we are right now.
What was the response?
Meetings he has had.
The response was that we are going to the facts will come out. So, yes, we've heard him. We are grateful for his statement, but we want reality. So the reality is, what does that really represent? And one, are they accurate? So we wait and see where we really are. We don't take anything now at face value. But we must, the properties and the vehicles and the auctioning and should cease. Then even the employment, people are being employed, people are being promoted. It's a problem. Don't do it. There are documents when I was leaving office, I had to sign or finish off. If I finish it off, the government was going to be bound by certain things. I left them. And I said, this is here. If you do this, this is the effect. This is. I didn't sign, or I didn't allow the process to be completed. Lo and behold, in some of them, they didn't even finish it off. So people were left hanging. But that is the way you do it, because you are no longer going to be there. You remember in 2008, Kufuor passed the bill on wages. So we now went into the process where President Mills was now compelled to go through a whole process in terms of salary, emoluments, and whatnot. As a result of that, it created a problem for us in government. You don't do this. At the point where you know it's over, let it be. Let the status quo remain. Whoever is coming will look at it. If it's good,
Yeah.
if it's not, that is not your choice. But if you push it, that's when you start hearing things afterward. Oh, this person has been removed. This is that, because you were doing things that you were not supposed to do at the very last moment.
But will you remove the people that have been recruited in recent times?
I don't think that is something that we will do. We have to look at everything that we have. We had figures from the agreements with, on employment figures, on how we, why is it that certain offices you go, people don't even have desks, but they are employed and we are paying them. So what are they doing? So we have to look at the whole thing across board. But you don't go in, it's like when people say, oh, we have oral, we are going to go and look for money. Yes, we won't go. We just have to go and say, this department, you were given $2 million. Okay. How was it spent? Where's the money? I spent it on this building, on that building. Okay, thank you. Well done. You were given 5. Where is it? You know, we have, then you have a problem. That is administrative process. It's not like I'm coming to look for KMG, I'm looking for, no. Because we don't have the time to be doing vindictive politics. But we must retrieve the loot. Because if we are going to go to the same donors to say to them, lend us some more money or help us with a grant, and they have given you in the past and you've done nothing about it, they will give you from full respect. Oh, we are looking at it. Come back the next day and let's see what we can talk about. And that will be the end of it. But if they realize that you are actually taking steps to retrieve what has been taken illegally, you're in a good place. So we don't go, are we going to sack people? Are we going to, that's not the mindset. The mindset is let's do what is right. And let's get things and put things in place. If not, we are going to just, if you have a wage bill that you cannot sustain and people are not working, why are you paying? So you might get to a place and realize, no, there are not enough people here. I need 20 more workers. You might get to another place and say, this 120 should be 70. And there are ways of letting people go. You pay compensation, you do, there's a process. We just don't like to follow it. But we have a leader who knows what has to be done. And then there are some outright blatant or political moves which can never be justified in any shape, form, or fashion. That's also their ways of dealing with it and leaving the court processes to look at. So I think that we have learned a lot. One, we have got a leader and still people. Look at our transition team. We have 3 people there. Professor Kwame Nahoy, Nana Atudazi, Gusi Tano, all the way from revolution time to now. They've seen it all. So we are in a position of expertise and relevance that knows what Ghana has been through. And they are at ages where they are not necessarily looking for what me and you at this time are looking for. They just want Ghana to be good for their children. So when they are doing things, they do them slightly differently. And with the right perspective, then some of us will do. So that is a good sign from where I'm coming from. And then you have a lot of other expertise, more current, on the transition team. The government side is statutory. These are the people you need. And so they come by virtue of their position. So we are in a good place. But it is a foundation that we have to work on and must be laid properly, because we are financially, growth, the whole structure is in a bad place. And the biggest challenge is how to change attitudes. That is a whole process in itself.
I was going to ask you that because our attitude in government sector is really, really poor. And we say that the private sector is always succeeding because the same person you find in the private sector doing so well will come to the government sector and change. Come to work at a certain time of the day, feel there's nobody to account to, feel there's money to lose. This is my money, I just take it and I don't care about it. So how are you going to change all of that?
To a certain extent, leadership plays a very important role. And you have to, I've always said that people know what the right thing to do is, but if you give them an opportunity, they don't do it. And apart from leadership, you also have to have a sanction regime. In Ghana, somebody always knows somebody who knows somebody, and therefore nothing happens. Or they work it out. Sanctions now have to start biting a bit for people to know that, look, if I do the wrong thing, I will be taken on. If you don't, you're going to have a problem. And so that is one aspect. Then you, the leader yourself, you see, if you put your hand in a pot, everybody knows you put your hand in it. So they also want to put their hand in it. But how are you going to stop them? You already put your hand in the pot. So you have to be above reproach up to a point so that when you start hitting on people, they would know straight away that they had no recourse about your behavior. And it is crucial. That is the beginning of how we can solve the act. Because, look, all our people go abroad. They work, they do all kinds of jobs from white-collar jobs right down to the most menial possible. But they are working and nobody asks a question.
Yeah.
Because they obey the rules and structures of the countries they are in. They get to Ghana and all of a sudden it changes. They've now become a different person. They are not what, they don't follow the rules. They say, well, everybody doesn't do this. So they do it. So no sanction, no leadership, that's where we are. So that is the one way, or what we have to do to be able to change attitudes. And those of us who are appointed as leaders have to show the way, and we must get a sanction regime. And that comes with the oral. If people have done the wrong thing and we bring them to book, then everybody will understand that, well, I might try, but tomorrow I may be answerable. That's what we need to do.
All right.
You spoke about the people on the transition team. We seem to have a certain generation as against another generation, a very young generation. I mean, if you look at the Sammy Gemfi, if you look at the...
Sammy Gemfi is not on it.
No, I'm just saying the young generation and then the older generation, like what you have right now, because they were also very prominent in the campaign.
Omani Boama is there.
I know.
Valerie is there.
Yeah.
Atu Forsen is there. Ayariga is there.
Yep.
So you have experienced, but not as senior as the three I mentioned earlier.
Right.
So it's actually, for me, balanced.
Very well.
Blend.
So what I mean to say actually is the young men you have in youth positions.
Yes.
As against those that you have right now.
Yes.
I want to find out how you'll be able to, or the party will be able to let these people, these two generations, there's a reason why I mentioned Sammy Gemfi, as not necessarily be on the transition team. I mentioned Malik Basintele and all of those people. These guys have been very vibrant in the campaign, the movement and everything. How do we make these guys understand, or the old, and make these young people who are very vibrant understand that, you know what, where we have got into right now, we know the youthful exuberance. We know when you'll be looking for positions and all of that. But we've got into a place where it is not necessarily about positions and about what you get from the position that you have. But it's about the fact that we need all these men to sit back and coach you guys so that we don't end up repeating the same mistakes that we've made again.
I think that it's important to note that, at least within the NDC, and the NPP may also want to say, but within the NDC, when Professor Mills came, what he did was he put a lot of young people into government. In fact, there were only one, possibly two people from the old gender who were allowed to become ministers again. So you had Sami Okujeto, you had Omani Boama, To a certain extent, subsequently later, you had Felix.
Felix, yeah.
You had, I was there as Deputy Chief of Staff, Valerie was there as Deputy Chief of Staff, but Martin Newman was the Chief of Staff. So the idea of bringing in young people who have shown certain potential has never been lost on the NDC. And you need, for now, Africa in general may not be necessarily ready for complete youthful leadership at the very, very top level. But we are moving in that direction and we have to grow. Why is it that in Europe, 40-something-year-old person is a president or a prime minister and so on and so forth? Because they have infrastructure, institutional strength.
That, yeah.
And that can carry whoever is sitting there because you can't move left or right.
Yeah.
So till we get to the point where we have got strong institutions, you can't take that chance because experience matters a lot, especially in the African setting. But sometimes we do the opposite. We take people who are necessarily too old. I'm talking now of other African countries, not necessarily Ghana. Too old, who are clearly, because age is not this thing. It's how fit you are. If I see you struggling to come and sit down and you still want to be a president, then I say, excuse me. But if the person is fit, has all their faculties, no problem, because they have a lot to bring to the table. So I think that is the mixture. Where do you put the young ones who are coming in? The Bazintales of this world, the Sami Jemfis, the Akugans, the etc. And there are a myriad of them across board. And that is what I don't necessarily have to worry about now, but John has to.
Yeah, because
I like that.
no, and you cannot take away their contributions to.
No, because
you can't.
it's the youth.
So it becomes a problem now.
This was an election of the youth. Yeah, the youth played. I mean, you guys know. You are young people. They listen to you. They watch you.
Yeah.
So it becomes, and even the relationship with the media, we have to redefine it. We have to, because you are in touch. Sometimes when you ask certain questions, I'll just see Kemi or yourself will say, and I can see your mind racing and say, no, you're not exactly right on that one. Or our boys don't want this.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah.
So if we don't engage and get the young ones who know this and get to engage. I mean, when I was campaign coordinator for the NDC in 2008, social media was non-existent. So even to get a message from A to B, you had to use your mobile phone or whatever. Yeah. Now social media is the game.
In fact, you people even used it very well.
You understand?
With communication.
Exactly.
Basintele will just go, move to this place, activate body cam, and people are shivering already.
Exactly. So for me, you can't do the youth, and it's a different gender. So if you are not, and that's the beauty of John. He has transcended along with the youth right through. And even his dress style, he's very casual always. Have you noticed?
I've noticed.
And so he can relate and he can speak their language. And so kudos to his children because he uses them. He talks to them. He gets a feel. And so sometimes like, okay.
This is what it is.
If my daughter or my son is saying this, then it means there are a lot of people.
Yeah.
If the rappers are doing this, you must take it. So he's actually in a good place. He is the best person for Ghana now. No two ways about that.
All right. Let's finish off with the Daily Graphic newspaper. Government will fully support transitional process, President Akufo-Addo assures, and economic growth 7.2% in third quarter. Also, NPP calls on stakeholders to condemn post-election violence. That'll be all for the Daily Graphic newspaper. Yes.
Maybe I can go on with the Daily Dispatch. It says Mahama calls for calm, condemns attacks on public property after 2024 elections. The violence and deaths recorded during 2024 elections. Page 2 has got the story on that. And we totally didn't need that. But unfortunately, the numbers keep increasing in terms of death. And it's something that we are all supposed to be very, very, very worried about it. With the defeat of NPP in Ghana, Africa has seen 5 transfers of power in 12 months. That's a Daily Dispatch today. So yeah, pretty much that's what the dispatch is reporting.
Right, I'll do the business analyst, which is our final newspaper. The business analyst. Don't purchase government vehicles, Akufo-Addo wants appointees. Wow, it's quite interesting.
That's a strong message.
Yeah.
If you read the
Don't
press that was released.
Well, for them, you know, in 2016, they were very hard on the NDC. And so I'm not surprised
I know
that
people
he
who
has
were
to be like
chased
this.
in certain places and cars collected.
But I mean, if you've been in
all of
government
that.
all this while and you haven't been able to purchase your own vehicle, then there's a cause to worry.
Why?
Many
You
people.
work. You have to know how to manage your finances to be able to purchase your own car. You don't have to depend on government vehicle. What, you thought you never go out of power?
Maybe the person thinks that we'll have that car, you know.
You work hard. You wake up in the morning,
there's
you're
no
working
need,
hard. How did you manage your finances?
I don't disagree with you. I'm just concerned about the way the statement is couched. Because actually, you look at government salary. That is why we have to now start thinking of loans for doctors, loans for nurses, to be able to help them to buy cars. And vehicles are a big issue.
Yeah.
But in many circles, and I give a clear example. When I was the Minister of Health,
Yeah.
when I sit with my board, and that's the head of all the institutions that I was under, my salary was, their salaries were minimum. The least person in was 3 times my salary.
On the board.
On the board. So what they pay the CEO of Kolebu, what they pay FDA, what they pay, the minister was not close. So that's why I said why. Because if we work on our salaries, then you're talking of chief executives. I don't know what the salary range is now. So that's why I'm being cautious. But you look at a minister or you look at a deputy minister, and sometimes you give them more credit for their salary than they actually earn. And so that is why sometimes and I'm careful with that step because I've suffered it. You meet people and they say, but you have been a this and that, why don't you have this?
Yeah.
So how, but you are expecting me to live on my salary, which is what I've done. And you want me to be straight. But at the same time, you expect that I should have, so you are actually telling me to be corrupt.
No, so
indirectly.
Honorable, no. So when I talk about the
that's why I asked the question.
Yes. So when it comes to the management, we have to be fair here. When it comes to the management, yes, as much as your salary might be little, you have certain perks coming in.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You also have the opportunity to, sometimes depending on where you are, you can get free fuel, you don't pay electricity, and all these things.
So you can manage.
You can manage it. Whereas somebody who is in the private sector, who receives a certain amount of salary, is buying fuel, is paid so much. And so when you compare it, and that person can still be able to purchase their own vehicle, I say that if you are there and you manage it well, you should be able to purchase.
I hear you.
I think also it's the perception that nobody's going to be chasing me to give this car out to them when I'm done.
Yeah.
But if you already know that
they don't lend money
property,
to...
it is not yours.
Yeah.
Then you start thinking, if I leave office, I'm not going with this.
Yeah.
So I need to be making an adjustment for that.
Exactly.
You get it? So I think it's that.
They lend money to MPs because they know they are there for years. They don't lend money to government officials because they can get you out tomorrow.
Anytime.
You understand?
Yeah.
So you don't plan on government money as if it's there for no. You have to be, but I hear you. You have a point, definitely.
Bottom line is that we're beginning to understand why government officials are not supposed to be getting cars that belong to the states.
Yes, because
that's where we have to be right now.
They used to, for salon cars, you could do it, but now that is completely gone. So both the 4x4s were not allowed. People tried to change chassis numbers, change registration, next to the cars,
which brought a lot of
all these things, and everybody tries it because all of a sudden you realize you have nothing or you hadn't planned for the rainy day. And therefore, you're trying to change your rainy day. But, hey.
Speaking about that, we're going to get some messages, but before Rosalind gets ready with that, I think one of the most important thing arms we're looking at is the executive. And we're speaking about vehicles and all of that. I know for sure the Air Force One does not leave or is not replaced when a certain president in the U.S. leaves office. The Beast is not replaced when a certain president leaves office. In terms of the president convoy, what are we looking at? We're still going to be maintaining what they've...
Historically, it's always been maintained.
Okay.
But the lifespan of the vehicles for the president, the vice president, are not the normal lifespans of this. After a certain period, you change them.
Yeah.
But
That is the one the president uses.
When Kufuor came, he used vehicles that Rawlings had been using for a short space. You know, he was very tall. Even so sometimes when you see him in the cars, you in the
Gentle giant.
Gentle giant, lovely man. So that was it. Then he then got a new fleet to compensate. So when Mills came, he used the fleet that Kufuor had bequeathed him for quite a while. In fact, Mills used them for longer than most. When Mills passed, Mahama came, those were the cars. Mahama continued. And when Mahama got his new fleet and we left, Akufo-Addo came and he used them for a period. Then before the Mercedes-Benzes and things came, and those, but they all use what is there. You have to. You cannot. You come and you look at your finances, and if the first thing you are thinking about is a new car, then people already think you've lost the plot. You see, and that was one of the mistakes Nana made, because the moment you came, 125 ministers, and people wrote him off straight, because you have sent the signal. So what you do in your first 90 days is very important.
All right, so let me read a few messages coming in. This one says, good morning, beautiful. Today, get ready to cook elephant meat, because I will break you the meat from the elephant Ghanaians had killed on Saturday. Do you remember I told you the NDC is not going to beat the NPP, but the NDC was going to disgrace them come 7 December, Masaraman, Sola Tuna Kalba. When is when, no matter how you want to explain it. NDC stormed Kumasi and explained the abysmal performance of the NPP. Kumasi may not vote NDC, but they abstained. The strategy is vote for me or don't vote. Patrick from Accra. I think this, I'll ask, Honorable about it. I want to know more about their strategy in Kumasi, because Kumasi was the gold mine for the NPP. And they said it categorically that if they should win a certain percentage in Kumasi, they have the seat. They don't need anywhere. The Ashanti region and the northern region.
And Eastern.
Not
Ashanti, Eastern and Northeast.
Yes. So out of that, but you managed to bring down the numbers in the north. We'll talk about it. Hassan Cisse from Zeno Central says, good morning to everyone. This tsunami that hit the NPP should be a great lesson to politicians who exhibit arrogance and insensitiveness to the electorate. The Ghanaian people voted with anger. When citizens were struggling to survive 3 square meals a day, the NPP and the government communicators were telling us that they have performed better. That was insulting. Al-Haji Hamza from Pig Farm, says, good morning, Roslyn. Something serious is going on in Tamale, and if care is not taken, it will turn out to be something else. And what I'm telling you is not hearsay. I'm sending you this message currently from Tamale. Just yesterday, the driver of the mayor of Tamale was arrested by the police carrying bags of rice belonging to the students from the warehouse. NPP supporters are up in arms and their leaders in Tamale, and according to them, rice and oil was given to them to share, which they refused to do and was kept in some warehouses to be sold later. So the NPP supporters are now attacking various warehouses for the rice and oil. And to your information, fertilizers belonging to farmers were not given to the farmers, and instead they were being sold in the market at the moment. They are being sold in the markets at the moment. You can cross-check from your reporters in Tamale. I call on the Ghana police to be up and doing. This is pure criminal, and whoever is involved should be arrested, both NDC and MPP supporters. All right, we hear you. Thank you so much, Al Hassan. We'll take a look into that. Good morning, madam, and to your panels. Akufo-Addo is the cause of NPP losing these elections. He doesn't listen to his party people, even we, the Ghanaians. He is the vice president since independence. Issa Saibu, supervisor in Tamale. Please send in your messages to us on 055-157-5757. Hello, my best TV host in the world. Thank you very much. This election has shown clearly that any game, there must be a winner and a loser. So he who loses should plan well next time. What we expect for the NDC now that they have taken power is to change the face of Ghana in all aspects, from education, finances, and a special eye should be put in the mining sector that was almost damaged. The youth should be given their place and now. This is my suggestion from Lambert, all the way from Cameroon. Thank you so much, Lambert. My dear presenters, in fact, Segbefia should be commended. He is indeed a responsible adult who exhibits love for his nation and future of our children. I've been wondering how I could see the president-elect to have a conversation with him on the topic of patriotism, but Segbefia has proved that people like him are there to do so. Let's pray God guides them. All right, so Sami Boachi from Asaman Kese says, congratulations to the Green Party in their impressive election victory, largely due to the apathy and complacency of some NPP members. Nevertheless, we expect you to honor your campaign promises, including reducing the price of cement to 30 Ghana cedis. Given the current dollar exchange rate is 15, we anticipate a reduction to 5 Ghana cedis. We also expect you to deliver on your promise to reduce the price of kinky to 2 cedis. I think you're being a bit sarcastic here.
He's an NPP.
Yes, he's an NPP guy. I think he's been a bit
who is still bitter about his loss.
NPP and Afenya Markin crying about illegal declaration is very funny. What happened to elections are won at polling stations and go to court? Farmer from Takrade. If President Mahama is able to deliver their promise, NPP will suffer before they will come to power again. Good morning, beautiful Rosalind and KMJ, as well as your panel. That's Honorable Segbefia. That's coming from Letitia Ayombil inside Tamale. Good morning, host. Although we voted for change, we must be modest in our demand since NPP has looted all our state funds and mortgaged all sources of income such as Get Fund, e-levy, oil revenues and pension funds. The new regime must be quick to seize all ill-gotten assets and withhold privileges and the ex-gratia of Akufo-Addo and his officials, destroying the economy, pension funds, forest reserves, water bodies as well. Okay. All right, so I think this will be it. If you want to send your messages, you can still go ahead and send in your messages to us on 055 157 5757 055 157 5757. I think we want to take a look into the Kumasi one, right? The Ashanti region.
Absolutely. Let's say a big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise, Store Phone, Papa Paf here. They've got CCTV cameras. We have refrigerators. We also have, televisions inches that range from 32 to 55 inches. You can just, Christmas is here. If you're looking forward to getting something special for somebody out there, you need to make your way there and grab something from Franco Trading Enterprise. This Christmas, we've got quality products that we are selling there, and you can make a purchase. Please do well and call us and speak to us. Customer service top-notch, and we're asking you not to pick any number on social media to deal with it. Just call the numbers you see on the screens, and you're good to go. You can also go on our website. The Franco Trading app is also available. You can download it on Google Play Store, and you can find anything you need about Franco Trading Enterprise, our prices, our locations, our branches, our numbers, everything is on the app. Once you download it, you're good to go. Trust me, quality is what we are talking about, and it's only Franco Trading Enterprise that can give you the quality you need, especially this Christmas season. Anyway.
Franco, still full Papa.
Beautiful stuff.
Yes.
We love it.
Honorable, that's victory. I'll call it a victory because you managed to bring down the percentage in the Ashanti region for the NPP. And for you as NDC, you increased in your percentage-wise.
Without any empirical evidence at this stage, my view has always been that there's an issue that is not being seen in all this. I do not believe in the 2020 register. I completely believe that it is bloated. It is a seriously bloated register, intentionally done to allow for stuffing of ballot boxes or change of figures. So if a place has 150, but the real voters are 100, you will never get, and you even have 70 people voting, it leaves you with 30 to 40 places, names you can add. So if you look at the past results in Ashanti, 90-something%, 90-something%, 10 now, blah, blah. So even when there's apathy, which occurred in 2020, you never see it because the figures are manipulated to ensure that they are up there. So that register is flawed. All we had to do was to ensure that nobody could add anything to the boxes. So what you got is the real figures. Apathy will take maybe add 10, 15%. But the breakdown, when you look at the amount that is lost, where did it come from? They don't exist. They are ghost names. That register is flawed. What you got is what we have. This is how we vote. And people turned out to vote. But if somebody doesn't exist, how does he vote? And if you get to a place where everybody's eyes on it, looking at the box, making sure that they get the figures, polling agents have been trained, they know what they have to do, you can't add. And your people sitting somewhere to change the figure, when the pink sheet is in our hand, change the figure and see. How many are you going to change? Especially when there's a windfall against your political party. So in Ashanti, we just had to ensure and Eastern that we trained our agents to the point where nobody could add anything extra.
Okay.
Just give us the correct figures. We may not win. If I will not win, it's your stronghold.
Yeah.
But don't make 100 become 400. Don't make 200 become 300. That little everywhere was creating a problem for us. We worked it out. So it's not rocket science. Once we kept them to what is the reality, and fortunately for us this time, you had two people, other agents there, who were not going to allow it to happen. Chairman Ting and Cheddar. So, unlike just NDC people you go and bribe, where are you going to bribe Chairman Ting's agents? He's part of you, and he says he doesn't like you anymore.
Yeah.
You understand?
Right.
So you cannot take any money to anybody. So you had clean results in Ashanti. Ashanti, for the first time, was demonstrating how they really vote.
So it's not voter apathy like it's been said?
There is voter apathy.
But it's not as
But
much
it's not
as-
as much as people are making out.
Okay.
That is my position.
All right.
So in that case, the back and forth the NDC had with the voter registration contributes to this in terms of the numbers you're talking about now.
Yes. Yeah,
So those concerns did something
they
better
exist.
for you.
For me, they exist. The register is not credible. Yeah, I think
Even
that
as at this moment,
it's bloated. Because we didn't add
it- is it-
anything.
is it
The
bloated?
new names that came on are correct. The old ones are not.
Is
The
it bloated?
2020 register is the problem.
Right.
You remember how we fought them that we didn't want a register? We knew why, and they got away with it.
Let me ask you this: Is it the bloatedness? Are we talking about Ashanti region or is
Across board.
Across board.
Across board. But Ashanti is the game player. There we were not strong enough. But this time we put in certain strategies which I won't go into now. You'll use them again. But you understand?
Yeah.
So it was difficult for them to play with figures.
Okay.
And even if you bring a hacker who can jump into any mainframe or whatever, it becomes difficult when the whole tide is moving against you. When it's close election, then they play games. And that's our saving grace. It's not close. There's nowhere even coming to close. So there was no need for any battle. It's not 13713. We've got 140. You are trying to fight to get 40. No. It's a whitewash. I just don't want us to become too over-exhilarated because there were reasons for it. At this stage, people say, oh, Nana Addo is the cause. I don't talk about it. The election is won. How are we going to govern? And the yardstick that NPP set is too low. So if you start using them as yardstick, you will never get where you have to get to. So let us look at what we have to do and work with it.
Which you have 2/3 in Parliament now.
Yes.
Now, talking about that, Ghanaians do not really trust our Parliament as it stands now.
Yeah.
Now, you getting 2/3, of course, people will feel that you could become so autocratic in Parliament. Complacency could step in or set in. But for the Ghanaian person out there, how are you going to remain accountable to the...
There's still a minority.
Yeah.
And we've been there before. If you have cogent arguments, one thing is clear. Ghanaians listen to... And when you're in opposition, in order to even have the debate, they give you space to speak. And therefore, so long as they have the right communicators and stuff, they can still check us up to a point. The only problem is that for the first possibly 2 years, 3 years, their credibility is short. So the moment you open your mouth, it's about you. Are you the one?
They can check us to a certain point.
Yeah. So you will get some level of space. And in fairness, we do need that level of space because we have to do a lot in a very short space of time. So I don't think that is going to be, even with a few MPs. Remember, in the year 1992, NPP didn't take part in the parliamentary elections. That's how IPAC came about in 1994, to give them a voice and a place, a platform to get involved in the electoral process. When they then took part in 1996, they were still less than us in parliament, but they had a voice because they had the right people. J.H. Mensah, Danado himself, others were part of that parliament, and it worked. And they were able to win power in 2000. The difficulty they have now is the caliber of people they have there.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They don't come. A lot of their senior people are out. Either before decided not to contest and left, or they lost in the election. So they have a lot of inexperience, even in the small numbers, who don't even understand parliamentary process. They are now coming to learn. They have headache. But it's not for me to point it out.
But what about you? Now you are accountable to the citizens. Let's even look at the voter turnout for you, the percentage you got.
Yes.
Everybody is expecting you to be accountable to them. How are you going to do that?
Look, one of the things we must learn to do is speak truth. And we must speak truth from the beginning. I'm saying here on the side, we are broke. We have no money. Government runs, but the reality should be made stark clear to Ghanaians where we are. It helped Kufuor in the year 2000. That's how we went HIPIC. You remember?
Yeah.
We must tell Ghanaians where we are and the reality of our position. That's why, and because when people do something, even when they are trying to do the right thing, you're always skeptical. Because they had this system of accounting where they did things under the table. You remember?
Yeah.
And then when they were telling us that our debt to GDP ratio was this level, and then all of a sudden when they brought the IMF came and took the things from under the table and said, actually it's on the table.
Yeah.
It changed the whole dynamic. We're now over 100%. So now when they call figures, we are a bit skeptical. Till we get into the chair, we don't know where we are. We are assuming that they have told us everything right.
So it could even be worse than what we are looking at.
Exactly. It could be a lot worse. And so that's why I'm saying that we must be truthful. Don't go and hide anything. Tell Ghanaians that, hey, this is where we are. They didn't tell us A, B, C, D. This is our position. So bear with us. We are going to do D, E, F to correct it. But this is our time frame. And you have to renegotiate with your IMF, with your debtors, and with your donors. But we have goodwill. And they are negotiating with a government that has got clearly the people behind it, based on the figures. So there'll be a lot more confidence dealing. And you're dealing with people or a person who you have dealt with in the past. So you know how far or how short, because you know what he did. Look, it is not lost on an international investor that John Mahama did not borrow a cedi from the Bank of Ghana in his final year, even though it cost him an election. It's not lost on them that this is somebody who will do the right thing if it needs to be done. It's not lost on them. So if we are going to help this man, it makes sense. Because what we thought was coming never materialized. In fact, it got worse. So let's help this man. That is another position that one can take.
So the president-elect could probably be heading.
He can leverage on his
geopolitics. For example, now we know that we can go to Ukraine, we can go to China, we can go to Japan, and tell them that no, this is where we stand. We've taken over this, but we're feeling that we've had issues, the IMF and all of that. So let me go open up to the people out there and say this is where we stand, so they can help us. Is this something that is very key that we'll be looking at?
It's important to do it, and you have to do that. You also have to look at your internal issues. We have issues, serious issues. In Galamsey, it's an issue, huge, both from an environmental point of view, But one thing the world has is money for environmental issues. So we need to sit down and package and enforce. If we package and enforce, they'll buy it.
Okay.
Because the environment affects what we do here is affecting somebody there.
Because they follow the conversation over here as well. So
Actually,
you need to know what
Global Climate Forum and all these things where they have allocated monies to fight it. Yeah.
And we have credibility at the moment.
Yeah.
So let's leverage on it. Let's make sure that we say we need. And one thing I've learned from Mahama and Setekpe position and PV is, look, when you are going to a place, have your plan. Don't go and say, oh, this is my problem, so let's see how it... No. Look at your problem, have your plan, and then take your plan. Let them tinker with it. But if the plan is good, they know that you are serious. And then start implementing the plan. So when we had our economic crisis, that was what... And that's why we never borrowed from the IMF, from the World Bank, the Bank of Ghana. Because it was part of the plan. And we stuck to it. And that's why they were able to inherit a beautiful economy, contrary to what they are saying. Not only did you inherit a beautiful economy that was growing like he said, so which oil wells have he left for us? I'm asking. We left you 2 oil wells. Within 6 months, you were pumping oil. You had gold coming out. That was what we left you. What have you left us? You get it?
Yeah.
So we have to tell our story.
I think when you go for the transition meeting, you'll be able to tell what they've left for us, right?
These are our conversations that
they will tell
from.
you what is the position is, but it's not going to be inquisitorial. And for me, look, by the 7th of January, we are in government. People should be very careful what they say, how they say. You have to quickly take off the clothes of. That's why I'm wearing this today. By the time 7th January comes, you have now become a party in government. You have to be careful. And you have inherited a mess. So if you want to continue your party after 7th of January, you have a problem. In fact, the party,
it's
Christmas and New Year's, your party. After that, it's over. There's no party. You have, it's a mess. KMJ, I cannot overemphasize it. You have to understand, in normal party, you don't have. You don't have.
Honorable, you...
And we haven't even started paying our interest on the loans that have been, and what's it called, haircuts that have been put to 2026. They are all waiting for John Mahama. And he said it before. He said, look, all this you are doing, it's thing you are leaving me behind. So if you are doing that, you should put the opposition at the table when you are negotiating, because we may have to come and inherit it.
Honorable, you've been part of the campaign. You've been part of the processes, even the one that is happening right now. In fact, you've been very close to the president. You've been in this position before. This is not the first time you're seeing this. His countenance behind the cameras, when you're with him, when you are all seated there, does it get scared? Does it look at it in the face and say, you know what, I know it's a mandate Ghanaians have given me, but this shakes me whenever I wake up in the morning. I feel like there's too much on my way.
No. That's the beauty of John Mahama now. You see, let me use football parlance. When you play in Accra Sports Stadium, 40, 50,000, you think you have played ball. The day that they go and put you in the Bernabeu Stadium, 95,000 people screaming, you forget which is your left leg and your right leg. It takes you time to settle. He doesn't have that problem. Because he has been burnt, hurt, betrayed in his first tenure. All the things you are talking about, he has seen. So he comes to the table with experience. You know, he made a statement which was used against him. But in actual fact, now we can understand it. He said, if you have not been a president before, you will not know how to do it. Now he has been a president before. So he doesn't have to make the statement. It would apply to him. He knows. And that's why I keep saying he's the best person. He made certain key decisions, which you can't underestimate. Top of it was to pick Nana Jane as his running mate. Now, he leveraged so much on her integrity, on her professionalism, as well as the fact that she's a female who is at the top end of academia and put her in there. And she has a totally different style of campaign. And she was used to target certain. So whether NPP like it or not, they had no answer to Nana Jane's market visits. When she enters the market, the women, because she's very down to earth. She has done market, she goes to market herself and buys things. She understands their language.
Interestingly, it was without the cameras, which is another strategy that I had.
She had a lot of cameras. In
So
fact,
why would we not
when
see
she
all
went,
of that?
one of the biggest turning points was when she visited 3 markets in Accra. Mokola, Kaneshi Market, Malata. It went viral. KMG, there was no region, 16 regions that we didn't go to a market. Some places 2, 3.
But you were modest to show a few of them and not almost all of them. Was that the
Where
strategy
it mattered,
for her?
yes, where it mattered, it went out. But it was subtle.
Exactly
Because
my point.
at the end of the day, the women there, look, there are 2 categories of people you don't play with in election. Middle class, in general terms, and women. They convince a whole raft of people. A whole raft. If you find, you get your middle class, they are feeding all the people working under them. They can be talking about this, but when they get to the village and they say, is it a passing comment? Oh, these people, it's over, you are over. The women, they are talking to their men. They are talking to their children. They are talking, they have their women's, and they are more than us. So, if you understand this and you target it well, John Mahama's choice of Nana Jane, making her make history, set a historical precedent for Ghana. And it should not be lost on anyone that the victory is unprecedented, and you cannot take it out of that victory.
Yeah.
In terms of the numbers even, you cannot take it out. We have done marvelously well in Central, Western, and Western North. We've done well everywhere else. But these are regions that, even when we don't do that well. We have done very well. And yes, there were other factors, but you cannot also take her out. General Mosquito also did very well. Look at the way Bono and this thing, because he was we had a 3-pronged campaign. Fantastically well. So there are certain decisions. When John said, look, let's do a 3-pronged, let General do like a sweep. You do this. And I don't want to go into too much strategy, but John has been pivotal. His experience from all those years played a very heavy part in how we executed this, culminating in this victory. And bear in mind, when he lost in 2016, at the time, it was the biggest defeat for any political party ever. And it was like, hey, John shouldn't even come again, blah, blah, blah. That's why the NPP was saying, oh, he's finished. But we stuck with him. We had faith. We realized also that certain things were not right in this whole EC collation, even then. And the rest is history. And God has been good. But elections in Ghana will never be the same.
All right, we'll definitely talk more about elections in Ghana not being the same. But of course, now that you have power,
yes,
you do have power for probably the next 4 years, or it could be more, depending on how you decide to,
behave.
To behave.
Okay.
Putting monies in the pockets of the people, arrogance, taking out vindictiveness, all these things play a paramount role. Now, when we think about the people that could help John Dramani Mahama succeed, is there anybody that comes top of mind for you? Because he says he's going to have, in the 120 days of his administration, first term, he's going to make sure he selects 60 ministers, 60. Anybody comes top of mind that you think could be a part of the 60 that could help his administration?
I won't call any names. I just say that President Mahama is in the position of a football coach who has to pick 11 players. But for every position, he has 9 people. All of them can play ball. Now, that is a headache that I prefer to have than to have 11 people, 2 people in each position, and some of them are not even good. No, he's not in that position. So his difficulty is who to put where. And he has certain constraints. 50% of +1 must be parliamentarians. He must look at gender balance. He must try and have some regional balance. I didn't say tribe, regional balance. So all those factors play into how he makes it. But once again, you have a coach who has won the World Cup before. He's now won the World Cup again, no problem. When he's picking his team, he knows what he wants. The beauty of his position as well is that technically, John Mahama doesn't have to play to hope to get another 4 years. It's a very important point. That should not be lost on anyone. So in the mess we are in, he's the one who can take hard decisions, and you cannot be there like, we'll deal with him. When he come to us to vote, we'll mind him, he's not coming.
Yeah. This is a legacy period.
It's not coming.
It goes beyond just...
Kufuor's second term, same. He did what he had to do. And if you look at Kufuor's second term, technically it was far better than his first. So you have a situation where, for me, John Mahama is in a good place.
Well,
and he is the one, whatever team he picks, people should just leave it be.
Okay.
Because you see, what he has to deal with and what he knows, you only think you do, but you don't. You don't. Yeah, you only, because he's got all these factors playing. And you put this person here, oh, then what happens here? If you put this person here, then what is it? So, and he has had time to think about it. So he said, look, I'll have it all sorted within, what was it, I think, a month of coming into office, something like that. He'll have his cabinet at least. You mentioned it.
He probably won't be looking at, by the powers that he have, change something in the Constitution to make it beyond 4 years.
Constitutional review is part of our promise. And it is key to the future of Ghana. Fortunately, we have the Fiajo report. We only have to have it reviewed and then look at the implementation process. That's all. It takes time, but we have at least 2 years to get to, maximum 2.5 years to get it done, because some you can just do and go. You see, there are a few, which you only need 2/3 in Parliament to do. There's not going to be any negotiation with any NPP person on those ones.
So we can just wake up and the
we'll just go and put this as
he's going for 8 years.
That's it.
So Honorable, we can wake up and the president says that it's extended the mandate for 8 years.
Those are entrenched. That's why you need referendum. So there are entrenched clauses, which you need to go to a referendum.
But there's a possibility.
That what?
With a referendum, there's a possibility.
That what you change? It's not something you touch. I don't see it happening today or tomorrow.
Okay.
I may be, others who have their views and personal. The man I know, he won't do it. He has criticized others for trying to extend their stay. Why will he do it? So I don't see that it is something that anybody should worry their mind about. He's working as he has a 4-year mandate.
If the people say, President, you've done extremely well these 4 years, we support you. We want you to push beyond the boundaries. Let's get the referendum.
And then
let's add another 4 years.
You give him the 4 years, and then you get another Akufo-Addo, and you give his people to give him another. Then we are dead. No. So let's take our 8 years. Let's take our 8 years.
You never can tell.
Please. There's reason why we do 8 years. If you want to change the term, I'm even in favor. I like that debate. Look, I have an issue that let every president do 6 years and go. Or 10 years, 6 and 4. If they bring you back for the second 4 years, the second term, after your 6 years, you can only do 4. You can't do 6. So your people will say, we can get 12 years old. If we change our leader. But if we go with our leader, we can only do another 4. let them have that fight in the House. So there are many permutations you can do. But there must be 2-term period, maximum, or one. Lengthen it. 6 years, 1 year to form your government, 4 years to rule the country, 1 year to do election. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
then you are now in the position of Mahama, where you have 1 term. You are not worried about whether somebody will vote me again or not. You do your term, we clap for you or we cry for you. Whichever, you are gone. So there are many permutations, but I am not one to extend this 2-term business. And I'm saying it openly. There may be those who think that, and I've given you the answer. Why? If that is the thought process and Nana Addo had done it, and were we going to get him to go for another 4 years?
That would have been crucial. Now, Honorable, so let me get this from you. One thing that is very crucial in terms of appointments, and all over the world, chief of staff is crucial. We've seen Donald Trump do so with his Wells, who was very instrumental in the campaign. In fact, most of the things that Donald was refused in saying in political platforms was because of this woman. Very, very, very intelligent woman. You know, right after the elections, he made the woman the chief of staff. In our case, I'm sure it's going to be one of the key places that we'll be looking at the chief of staff. Are we looking at Julius, or we're looking at a different person? Do we have that person that we can say the president is likely to listen to?
KMG. The fact that I have his name on my shirt does not mean I'm John Mahama. The question you are asking me is a John Mahama question. I don't have a clue of any appointments.
There haven't been any conversation around?
No. You see, if you do that in the public domain, it's a recipe for disaster. Because everybody is looking for something. So I'm very pleased with the way my president has played it.
Okay.
When he's ready, he will call the team that have to make the decision, the party leadership, and say, okay, I'm putting this person here, I'm putting this person here. This is negotiable, this is not this. Let's talk.
No, we don't have time.
All right, Honorable.
You understand? So to be done very quickly.
Yeah, because we don't have
before names start coming out, the names will be also out in the public domain.
All right.
Okay.
Honorable Alex Segbefia, thank you so much for making time for us this morning.
Yes,
we have an amazing time with you today, I must say. A big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise also for having our backs. All your gadgets that you need, just go to Franco Trading Enterprise because they've got you covered. To those of you who sent in your messages, I want to say a very big thank you to you. You can actually send your messages all the time. I want to say a very big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise. All the time, you've got us covered. So download the app on your phone, Franco Trading app, or visit the website, www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise still phone, okay?
Absolutely, and we still have some more coming up. As here, where the Golden Girl is standing by with the latest updates and what are trends. We've got sports for you this morning as well. And then also we'll be looking at our conversation on Relationship Thursday. Today we're looking at, if you are an NPP and you have an NDC woman and you're couples or in a relationship, how do you guys move along? Especially with what is happening right now, your love life. How do you, shape it so that politics do not really get into it that much? I don't know about Honorable, and if he had to find a reason to say, okay, we're going to argue about who is NDC or who is MPP in your situation. Have you ever been in that case before? Where you have your partner and NDC and an NPP?
Oh, I remember that issue you raised earlier in the... No, I mean, it ranges in families, and the extent to which it goes also varies. But a political position should not necessarily affect the home in any shape, form, or fashion. I have... siblings who are on the other side of the political divide. And we get on like a house on fire. Because that is not the crux of why we are living. We can have our debates on issues, but it doesn't change our temperament and how we deal with one another. So, and we have examples on both sides. The Jinapors, on our side, Ajete, the former speaker, and his son, Larry, who is a lawyer, who's on our side. So it can work, even within families. But it's just that some people take it to a certain extent.
Too personal, somehow too petty.
And then when you get into that, then it can even break marriages.
This is where emotional intelligence comes to play. And so you have to stay glued to your television set for that conversation. And like you sent in your messages,
this morning, from 6 a.m. till now, you can still continue sending your messages to us during that segment. But guess what? Christmas is here again, and I just love Christmas. I love Christmas. You know, Christmas is the time where we show love, we bring the family together and all of that. And here on Joy Prime, we have our Christmas coming back to you again. We've been doing it year on, and this time round is a family one. So if, you have a very tight family, even if you don't have a tight family, but you've been praying to God to have a tight family, this is the time to bring your family together. So you'll get to enjoy a holiday-themed trivia right here on Joy Prime. You get to experience, you come with your family, you answer questions, you win great, great prizes. Now, to do that, just send your family picture to us on our WhatsApp number, that's 055-157-5757, 055-157-5757. A picture of yourself and your family, lovely pictures, lovely pictures, not individual pictures, and we'll select the families that will take part in our Christmas. Don't forget, there are lots of goodies to be won during the Christmas, so send it from today all the way to the time where we start calling you, and then you get to take part in it. Probably I'll be taking part. Maybe Honorable also come with his family.
And Rosalind, the interesting thing is that the questions... the questions will be very, very, very simple questions. Yeah. For example, who is the president-elect of Ghana? These are questions. These are questions we're going to be asking you, so you don't have to worry. I know people are going like, oh, there's going to be difficult questions. I mean, imagine we asking who is the president-elect of the Republic of Ghana. I mean, that should be very easy.
If you ask the question, who won the elections, you get the right answer. President-elect is not a term some people are conversant with. You might end up with Baomiao.
Let me share another excitement from Compu Ghana, and it's all about an exclusive discount that we're having on Prime Savings. It's awesome surprises that we're giving you this Christmas season. It started from October all the way to December, and so please, if you're out there, you really love Compu Ghana and the amazing things that they continue to do. So those of you who want electronics in your homes, home appliances and all of that, the place you have to be is Compu Ghana. And even this Christmas, they're making it more exciting for you by giving you so much more, all right? So please do well. It's a discount, exclusive discount that we're giving as far as this Christmas season is concerned. You don't want to miss out on that. I'll be looking forward to seeing you over there because I go there a lot. And so when you just bumped in there and, we get to meet and do what we have to do. Probably you buy me something, I buy you something, and then we're good to go, all right? So amazing stuff. It's awesome surprises, and it's all about Compu Ghana.
Now, talking about that, since it's Christmas, Franco Trading Enterprise says they are giving up to 40% discount on all phone appliance, accessories. And so if you go there and you're buying, there's up to a 40% discount for you. Now, if you're looking for Samsung branded phones, you're looking for Nokia, iPhones, don't worry because we've got them all for you. Very authentic. We are not talking about fake on the market where you turn it on and then it goes like, meanwhile, you've gone to buy iPhone. You know that thing? So come to Franco Trading Enterprise if you're looking for CCTV cameras. We've got all of that for you. Now, all you have to do is you can call us on these numbers. That's 024-642-2338, 024-642-2338, or 055-593-9311, 055-593-9311. You can also download the app on your phone to make things very, very simple. That is the Franco Trading app, or visit our website, www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone, Papa Perfie. But we urge you, do not go on Google to pick any number. The fraudsters there will make sure they take your money because it's Christmas. They need the money. So please and please again, do not go on Google to pick the number. But don't forget that there's up to 40% discount on all phone accessories.
It's just too much for you. But once again, we're grateful to Honorable for joining us this morning. Like we said, there's still more coming up right here on the show. So please do stay with us till 10 a.m. where we get to say goodbye to you.